Hello, hello. How are you all doing? This is Tyra Omilade, your goddess guru, your sister friend. And I love helping women align with their life purpose using ancient wisdom so that they confidently and courageously live the amazing lives they know they deserve. It's all about the goddess centered lifestyle. And I am so happy to come on today. I hope that all is well with you. I hope that you had an amazing new moon in Taurus. I would love to know that you are here, as well as if you are in the replay, hashtag replay, let me know that you were here so I can make sure I let you know I appreciate you and shout you out if you're here live. But we're still essentially in, hey, there's my girl Jasmine. Yes, Jasmine. Yes, that's my baby sister right there, y'all. Um, so we're still in the new moon energy for 2 weeks, actually. And something to know is that we plant the seeds. Johnny J is in the house. How are you? We plant the seeds. And it takes a little while for the moon to begin to get her energy back. So you want to look to see, can you see the moon yet? If you're not able to, if the sky is cloudy, the next step would be go find the farmer's almanac and look at which day you should be able to see the moon. And it seemed like it was like 3 days out. I went over this with the inner circle, so I can't remember. Aquarian Tea is in the house. Alafia, welcome. It was wonderful. I hope yours was wonderful too. So yes, I wanted to come on today though and talk about a concept. I have to tell y'all, my inner circle inspires me so much. We just have the best conversations. I have a weekly live stream that I do with them. And this is something that I talked about on Monday with the inner circle, but it can't be overstated. It's actually something that I have been pondering on all week, because it doesn't matter how much we know. It to a certain degree, it doesn't even matter how much we've manifested and actually gotten results from this wisdom. The application of spiritual wisdom is an ongoing thing. So though I know this, I'm teaching it, it's being channeled to me through my spirit guides, the ancient mothers. I still have to constantly check myself. So I'll give you an example. Well, first of all, I'm talking about the two eyes. The first one is intuition, and the second one is inspiration. And I want to talk about these two eyes as keys to success. They are essentially power tools as I see it. So, we will greatly benefit. Another thing about intuition and inspiration, it's so fascinating that the majority of the people who get readings with me or who send me private messages, their main question is, why am I here? What's my purpose? Intuition and inspiration will help you on your path to living in alignment with your destiny, to living in alignment with your purpose. So, but what I want to tell you is, for instance, why am I continuing to ponder on this that we talked about in my membership on Monday? It is because yesterday was actually a rough day for me. I actually ended up the day started out rough. I have a transit that's happening, an astrological transit that's happening that is in the house of emotions. And the new moon yesterday actually was interacting with this house in a way that maybe is not the best feeling, but it's always purposeful. And so, I had to just really ask myself, why is this coming up for me? Why are these emotions? Why is this situation coming up for me? And it has to do with my family, my extended family, and feeling um, to a certain degree a level of disconnect. But I don't want it. But it's like, I can't make people want to connect with me, right? The question is, just like I said yesterday, like with Oshun, who wouldn't want to connect with me, right? Who wouldn't want to connect with you? That's really how I should think. Like, why would they not want to connect? But I was having a little bit of a pity party yesterday. And so I had to think on, okay, let's use our intuition. What is this really about? Probably nothing about you. Honestly, I bet you it's nothing about me. I honestly believe it's nothing about me. And, I would hope that if I had offended people, they would let me know. But it's at the end of the day, everyone gets to choose how they want to interact with me, right? But I began to just feel this understanding of I have to make sure that I am aligning with my intuition, because this thing has me so weighted down. It's had me weighted down for months that I'm not acting on the inspiration that's coming to me. This thing, with my family has had me sitting down and sad and not moving. So it doesn't matter who you are, what how great and mighty it looks like, you all this wisdom is flowing through you. At the end of the day, we all in this game called life. We're all in this spiritual game. We all gotta walk it out. So, hello, tell it like it is. I do readings using, she asked, do you do readings using divination? I do a blending. So I do readings with my Metuneta Oracle. That's my main oracle. I do readings with the Meridine Lagoon, which is not my strength, but I still use that oracle every reading. Those two oracles, and I'll get back to the topic, y'all, but I'll address this question now. But those two oracles are like the spirituality that I bring to my readings. The Metuneta is my safety zone, but I will say my other safety zone is astrology, and I blend it all. And it just depends on what kind of reading you get, you know, which oracles, because I have other ones that I sometimes pull out too. So yeah, and of course my intuition is a part of it. So there you go. Okay, so what I want to talk about is intuition and inspiration. So one of the things that I have talked about, I'm not quite sure where, is this concept of intuition. Actually, it may have been in my you're welcome. You're welcome, Ashe. Intuition is I think I talked about it in my membership. I made this video where it just became so clear to me. And okay. So one of the things that I learned recently is in a lot of times, especially when it comes to modern day, and when I say modern day, we know this has been around for centuries, but this systematic racism, sexism, a lot of people call it patriarchy, just all this oppression. And there's multiple groups and people that do these kinds of things. So, though I'm saying those words, it's everywhere. It's in all cultures. It doesn't matter ethnicity, nothing. There is no group of people on the face of this earth that's above it. But we do know that this patriarchy, as we know it today, white supremacy and sexism is what is predominant in a lot of cultures. And so it's specifically talking about here in the United States, and those who come from people who were enslaved, maybe in the Caribbean might be able to understand this, or, your ancestors went through this too. What happened was the group that was the superior group, they began to say education and logic and reasoning. These are the supreme ways of being. You got to have all of this. And so this is why, a lot of those of us who come from African ancestors who lived here in the United States, our ancestors were not given any education, but the other group that we all know was not given education was women. It has not been long since women started being able to just freely go to college, where everybody has this expectation, like it's cool, right? And so what would end up happening is these groups began to develop their intuition. This is what predominantly got developed within them. Um, and so what ended up happening is this intuition, as see it, it far exceeds, well, let me not say far exceeds. It will take you to places where your logic and reasoning will not take you. And so it is a blessing to be intuitive. And no matter how much this world continues to disrespect it, like if some young person were to come to somebody and say, you know what, I just want to grow up and be a psychic, they probably, if they're not around somebody like me and you, would get laughed at, right? This it's not valued. I want to be an astrologer. This part of ourselves is accessing higher wisdom that cannot be seen. It's just not valued. Though I'm learning rich people, they use shaman, they use all kinds of spirituality to make all this money, to make gains in life. This is what they live by. They live by the natural laws of the universe. And so, and the other thing that I'm learning and hearing more and more, especially from women entrepreneurs, is you have to use your intuition if you actually want to be successful. It cannot just be using your mind. Logic is only going to take you so far. But what I find with a lot of women, and I think it's because of the way, this system is set up. But guess what, y'all? We can make a choice to operate outside of the system, however that looks for you. And what I'm saying is, when we women, what ends up happening is, because we have, received this programming, it makes us not trust ourselves. And there's other things out there too, experiences that we've had will make you say, I don't know if I trust myself. If I allow that to happen to me, I don't know if I can be trusted, right? And so what we have to do is counter all of the messaging by just saying, you know what, I'm going to trust my intuition. And you can start with something small. Like you can start with something, I don't know. I live intuitively all the time. So here's something. I will trust my intuition about what to eat. I, many, many years ago, began to say, I can't listen to what people say is the right thing to eat. I need to sometimes, literally, let's imagine this is an apple, hold that apple next to my body and see, does my body say yes? That's intuition. Sometimes I have to sit and say, okay, do I need to keep working or do I need to take a break? Let me just tune in. That's intuition. It could be really simple things like that. I'm just going to trust myself. I just feel like I'm not being called to go to this event. I'm not sure if y'all saw my post, but I made a post recently. Let me know if you saw it, where I talked about my Aunt Beulah. Oh, it was this little cat that said, you know what, my journey is not taking me in the direction of that today, or something the little cat was saying. And I always talk about my Aunt Beulah, who we were at a family gathering and we hadn't seen each other in years, like the majority of this, our family. And I called and I was like, Aunt Beulah, you coming over? She was like, Spirit has not released me to come out today. Nope, Spirit has not released me to come over today, so I will not be there. So maybe Spirit hadn't released you to go somewhere. But everybody's like, girl, why don't you come on over? What? Why are you not coming over? All of us are here. Spirit hadn't released me. Sometimes we need to listen to Spirit, because you know what? Maybe you're not going because that phone is going to ring. You're going to actually hear it because you're not out hanging out with, whoever. And it's the exact call you needed to get that's going to take you in the direction you want to go, right? But then we do want to begin to cultivate having our intuition on a regular basis. And it's great to learn how to blend it with intuition. With logic and reasoning. Sometimes I literally have to just use my logic and reasoning to map out something, like, really, does this make sense? So it's so important. But I assure you that we cannot really align with our life purpose unless we're willing to tap in and tune into our inspiration. Because let me tell y'all, hello, how y'all doing? I see you, Laura Marie. I see you, Stephanie. Because if we do not tap into our intuition, we cannot move according to the inspiration. The inspiration is where it's our guide. Where do you feel inspired to go? This is letting you know the direction, because this is how you and your destiny communicate with each other. It communicates through intuition and tapping into this inspiration that you feel. How many times have you had an intuitive nudge? I need to do A. And when you do it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And yeah, if you are not used to listening to your intuition, there will be times where you're like, I'm not quite sure. So I'm just going to try it and I'll be okay with whatever happens. This is how I trained my intuition. It's a muscle. I began to just say, it doesn't matter if I feel like, for instance, I started using, before GPSs were so big, I would say, I just feel like I'm supposed to turn right here. I don't even know why. I just like, I'm lost. And I remember it was somewhere, I think in that direction, so many tall buildings in this city. I don't know. This was Atlanta when I lived there. And sure enough, I would begin to be correct in the direction that I was going. And sometimes I would say, I don't know why I need to go this way. I would see a place that I'm like, I didn't know that was here. Duly noted. I'll have to come back and see this place. But it wasn't the right direction to go. So I've got to turn back around and come in a different direction, But it's like the ability to trust your intuition is tantamount. It's our birthright. It is a gift. It is a power tool. And I honestly believe it's how so many of my ancestors survived. It is how my ancestors were able to escape. It was pure D intuition. It was pure D inspiration on knowing the day, knowing when to go. Okay. I just feel like we do honor for those of you who want to work with your ancestors of light. It's through intuition. And what ends up happening is they give us inspiration on the next step to take. I cannot even begin to tell y'all how many times I said to my ancestors, all right, ancestors, I'm not quite sure how I'm gonna pull this off. I'm asking for your help. And the next thing I know, it's like, boom, something shows up. But see, we've got to be ready. Okay, let me see here. Johnny said, learning to allow myself to be less logical based and move more intuition led. Yes, that is very good, Johnny J. And we have to remember that part of the reason we are so logical is because we live in a society that was logic actually being logical and rational was actually a power tool, that the oppressor used. And so it behooves us to say, I'm not throwing logic out the door. I mean, we have a logical faculty, but if it's too much, you can see where it's landing us. In the Metu Netter, Ra'u Nefer Amen talks about the difference between the energy called Sebek and the energy called Heteru. Sebek is more masculine energy. I see Sebek as more masculine, but it could be genderless to a certain degree. Sebek is rational thinking. And he said a lot of times people think inventions come from this rational thinking. But he said that's not true. They come from Heteru, which we talked about yesterday, this energy of, the goddess that is about beauty and love and manifestation, where her faculty is the imagination. He said inventions come from the imagination. Very feminine energy. Very feminine energy, because you have to be able to visualize it. And you use the logical piece to help actualize it. They work in tandem. Some of us are like naturally intuitive, logically intuitive. I don't know how to explain it, but if you are, you already know what I'm talking about, because that's me. It's like I can just see, somebody will tell me what's going on, and I can see exactly what it is that they need to do, or I can actually see what's going on. I don't know how, and I'll just be talking like I'm talking to you all. It's not a bunch of, light inner. I don't know exactly, I don't know exactly how to say it, but my words will sound pretty logical, but it's 100%. I have an inner muse, and I'm like, I can see it. I 100% see what's going on, right? And we come up with game plans and all that kind of good stuff. So yes, yes, yes. Hey, T Luna, Alafia. I'm glad you're catching me too. I said I need to change the time that I'm doing because now that it's warm, everybody's leaving out on Fridays. And then my husband is cutting the grass again. I'm like, I can't do 5:30 on Friday. So I'm gonna start going early in the day. And it's working because y'all are here. Hey, baby boo Grace, I've missed you. Learning to trust that there is a deeper knowing inside of us that that knows all. That knows all. I need to repeat that again. It is hard. It's hard to believe when you doubt yourself, but true. Yes, it is true and sacred. So again, I want y'all to know we have just been tricked. Okay. We've just now some of us literally, if you have experienced trauma, okay, just being 100. Actually, for those who've experienced trauma, sometimes you hyper develop certain aspects of your intuition. I'm one of those people, I was raised up in a home with violence and alcoholism. And so I had to learn how to be alert for whenever something was going to pop off because I could get so lost in TV that all of a sudden I get yanked out because, there's something happening in the house. And so I am hyper. I've had like this year, me not having to be out in public so much. I've been able to like work myself out of that, just constantly being on because it's not healthy to be hyper aware for safety. But that's to a certain degree, if you can shift that into where it's more beneficial and healthy for you, it could be wonderful. However, again, all of us have had experiences where we're like, how did I get in this situation? If you were a child, it's no telling what kind of story you told to kind of help keep you sane. But it nonetheless made you feel like it's my fault and I can't trust myself. And so we just have to begin to make the choice. One of the phrases that I've been learning from a coach I've been working about is it's safe to. It's safe to trust myself. I know this happened in the past, but today I'm different. Maybe what happened was 30 years ago. Maybe it was 10 years ago. I had something that made me doubt myself back in October. I'm like, it's no telling when it could have happened. And you're just like, how did I get in this situation, this relationship? What did I not pay attention to? Because now I realize, I don't think I can do this because I let myself get in that situation. So yeah, I can't trust myself. But we have to begin to say, you know what? Even for me, it's like 7 months down the road from what happened back in October. I can tell myself it's safe to trust myself. I learned from that situation. And, I'm 7 months older. And this version of myself, she got you, Tyra Omilade. She got you. She ain't going to let this happen again. Okay. So we have to go through a process. We have to go through a process where we're like, you know what? I just have to go on ahead and make this choice to trust myself. So let me see here. My ancestors taught me to be patient yesterday. Yes. Yes, we have to trust them. And I began to trust my ancestors when I began to realize this is for those who understand, or know a little bit about the Ifa tradition, the Orisha tradition. What people began to teach me was the ancestors are going to help you before the Orisha. And it's sort of like true and not true because I'm like, it's just spirit at the end of the day. It's just all like whatever we need to do to get the job done. But honestly, I believe this with every fiber of my being. We have ancestors who are invested in our lives. Number one, they already paid a price for us to be here. They already paid for you to be here. Okay. Now, some of y'all might feel like, I don't know about my ancestors. Okay. At the end of the day, some of us might be here to change the family lineage, but they still lived so that your parents could be born, so that you could be born. That's honorable. If that's all they did and the rest of it is trash, that's honorable. We are so happy that you are here. Um, and there are some ancestors, if you go far back enough, if you feel like, I don't know about my ancestors, if you go back far enough, it's ancestors that's invested in you because they already paid a price for you to be here. And they want you to make good on the investment of their lives. I mean, y'all, look, it's rough. It's stressful. This last, I'm gonna say few years, it's been very challenging. And so I'm fighting and scratching and clawing to do what I have been put here to do so that I leave a legacy for my children, my nieces, my nephews, your children. I'm claiming all y'all's kids. So that their lives are meaningful and they now have their part of the legacy, right? But the other part is this, and I want them to make good on the investment that has been made in them, not just by me, but all the ancestors who come before them. But the other part of this is what many of us subscribe to is multiple lifetimes. These ancestors, they're going to come back. See, I'm a returned ancestor. You're a returned ancestor. We're coming back. And so it behooves the ancestors who are in ancestral realm to support us because they're coming back. They want the world to be, beautiful and good. And even if we think about, the traditions that honor 7 generations back, it's a reason for that. It's a reason. We always have to keep all the generations that are to come, right? So it's so important for us to work with our ancestors. They are invested in us, and it works. It works. That is a great affirmation to add to my new moon list. I allow myself to receive guidance from my intuition. Ashe. Hathor Hathor has been coming to me. It's time to work more with her. Yes. And it's such a good season right now to do that. Jasmine, yes. Discernment and intuition, they go hand in hand. I would say discernment is maybe a type of intuition. Not everybody can discern. It's so interesting. Bible also teaches us not to lean on our own understanding, which keeps me searching outward for all my answers and to second guess myself. So this is what I'm going to tell you, baby boo Grace. It's something that I'm working on in my own life. I get to decide. And it kind of comes back down to, and I want to show y'all a graphic that I have. I'm working on creating a framework for what I teach. Because like I said, once I'm gone, I want others to be able to say, well, this is what Tyrone Milade taught, and we actually can teach it to other people. It's like no good if what I teach, it's not replicatable. So y'all may not be able to see. Hold on, let me see if I can blow this up just a little bit. Can I? Let's see what happens if I do this. I want y'all to be able to see. I think y'all will be able to see that. Where are we? That's not what I wanted. Okay, so y'all see this awareness right here. This is it's an area, it's a category that is so important to work on. Awareness is actually a key to self-mastery. And it is because when we live aware, when we live in the moment, let me tell you, that's where the most of the information that you want to know, it's right now in this moment. Awareness. And so one of the things that's important to know under this category is who you are. And so whatever we're living according to, whatever rules we have, whatever beliefs we have, no matter where they came from, It's all programmable, which means that we can deprogram it. We can say, well, you know what? I know I decided to believe this at some point, and now I don't believe that anymore. And we do it all the time. If you think about how you believe something with every fiber of your being, and then one day you were like, maybe you got some new information and you were just like, you know, I don't believe that no more. That ain't me no more. I don't even know where I got that from. Okay, I remember somebody told me that and I bought into it, but I don't believe that anymore. Right. So you, sister, can just begin to say, well, that's just not, even if it's there, I don't subscribe to that anymore. Literally, that's what I've done. It's like I pick and choose what I want to, what resonates. It kind of goes back to that inspiration. This is what resonates with me. And even if it's something that's a little painful, if it's true, I'm gonna be okay with it. I'm gonna be okay with it. But I say to you what was said to me, sister, do you know who you are? You're all powerful. You have no limits. This is all of us. We literally have no limits. We only have the limits that we put on ourselves. And so if there is a limiting thought or belief, we can release it. Now, how do we do this? We do this through um, changing our identity. And so one of the things I began to say was, I don't believe everything that was taught to me from that religion. I just don't. I hear it all the time because I'm married to somebody who is a pastor. And when something is said that conflicts with my truths, I just say, okay, cool. That's what you think. That's fine. I don't argue about it. You know, it's not like we argue at all about these kinds of things, but I don't feel the need to say, you know what, that's just not right. Well, according to who? Right. And if I was told that this is absolutely correct, I would say, according to who? Okay, well, is this across all boards? Because everybody doesn't even know this book, right? So you can choose. You can just say, you know what, I don't roll like that. I don't roll like that. You have to drop the identity, though. You have to drop the identity. So, yes, know who you are. Sister, do you know who you are? I think that that's a very important question for you to explore on a regular basis. Who am I really? Am I really, put your name in the blank. And if I am, how do I really know this? Like, can I prove to myself I am who I am? Is there more to me that maybe I have not explored? And if so, what's there? And how do we do this? I'll never stop saying it, is you got to go for what you feel moved to do. The inspiration, the intuition combined, leading you into new, areas of life. This is what will lead you to finding out, who am I really? So, I did not know anything about homeschooling when I was a kid. I found out about homeschooling when I was in my mid 20s. I moved to Knoxville, Tennessee, and I was working on campus, like as a secretary or something. And I remember seeing all these people walking around on campus. And I was like, what is this? They were like, oh, it's a homeschool, because it was in the summertime. It's a homeschool convention. I'm like, homeschool? What? So once I started staying home with my children and going to different events at the library and different places like that, I began to meet people who would bring their toddlers, but along with their homeschool kids, because homeschooling was very different back then. It was not like it is now. And that's when I began to actually see homeschool in action. And I was just like, I want to do that. And then I stepped into the role of homeschooling mom. It took me a little while to fully embody that. But once I did, like, I've had to take the identity off now that I'm done. It was like, oh my gosh, this crying, I'm not a homeschool mom anymore, taking this identity off. But we just like clothes, take off the identity and put a new one on. And that new identity sets up new beliefs. It sets up new possibilities. Okay, so I will take this down. So, even being led by intuition, when the situation seems bad in the midst of it, does that mean the intuition was off or it was all part of a higher plan? I think it could potentially be both. I am 100% like, if I find myself in a situation, I chose to allow myself to be in that situation because there was actually something I needed to learn. And it sounds rough, you know. I'm telling y'all, I've been through some stuff. I am telling y'all, everything that I am talking about, I've applied to myself. And when I find myself in those bad situations where I'm like, wow, I really made an error in judgment. I made a very bad error in judgment. Um, I Once I allow my intuition to speak to me, what is inspiration? Inspiration is wisdom. It is, something magical, divine, and enlightening that will come to you. And it can turn a horrible situation into one of the best things that has ever happened to you in your life. And so once I allow my intuition, maybe my intuition is going to lead me to go get therapy. And in going through therapy, I am able to see, okay, I now can actually see, because a lot of times when we end up in something bad, we have so much emotion going on. It's really hard to like reverse engineer the whole thing to kind of figure out, okay, what happened? Like, where did I miss the cue? um, and so once we're able to reverse engineer it using, to a certain degree, a little bit of logic, it helps us to see how we would have allowed ourselves to end up in that situation. I don't doubt my intuition at all. I don't doubt any experience that I end up in. I accept that there is this higher energy that's unfolding. And to me, that's what intuition does for me. It allows me to step outside of what I see. When we are operating according to our logic and not tapped in and tuned into inspiration, a lot of times this is how we maybe, make a choice, miscalculate what we saw, um, and end up in a situation we are like, this is not what I asked for. But as I began to open myself up to my intuition and inspiration as my leads, then I can trust that there was maybe something higher playing out. So I'll tell y'all, I used to talk about this all of the time. It's called radical forgiveness. And what radical forgiveness talked about is how, say, for instance, my Ori may be doing everything it can, because I honestly believe it's just like what I talk about with Oya. Oya is trying to talk to you on a nice, gentle breeze. Oya, the goddess of change and transformation. She's not just trying to come. She's not just trying to come through with a tornado from the door. She does not want to start at 100 with us. She came through like a breeze. Then she came through with, a heavier wind. She even sent a few gusts, knock off my little cap, right? And because, oh yeah, the universe, your Ori, your higher self is like, man, she really and truly has bought into something. And so we've got to get it, we got to get this thing straightened out. We want to get her more in alignment with who and what she really is. It's not even just about destiny. To me, ultimate destiny is I am aligned with me. And so this is the way radical forgiveness taught it. And it made so much sense to me. So I'll offer it and you just choose, think on it and see if it works for you. So my Ori, this is what radical forgiveness says. My Ori, or higher self, conspired with someone else's. And this other person, um, decided, okay, I will be a part of helping to self-correct her by being the bad guy. Somebody's got to do it. Something has to happen. It's just really, if we think about it, oftentimes our greatest change comes after pain. I don't know why. I don't want it to be this way all the time. But if we're honest, a lot of times our greatest change comes after pain. And so their higher self conspires with mine, and some mess happens, and I end up feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't stand this person. And then yeah, the lesson will be learned after the burn, after the pain, if I so choose. And the Ori, the higher self, will continue to do this until we can get ourselves self to correct it, because we do fall into, what's the word, forgetfulness. That's part of the human experience. You forget the truth, and it's just like the more stuff happens, the more we experience conditioning, the more we experience pain, or, we haven't been properly taught who we are, we just fall deeper and deeper and deeper into forgetfulness. And so the Ori has to do something to get us to shake it out. And so I trust in this higher unfolding that I cannot see, but I have witnessed how if I allow it to lead, guide, and direct me, then I can give thanks for all the situations that happen to me that I don't find to be pleasant. Just like right now, I don't understand why I'm struggling with family. I just don't understand it. But I just said, you know what? Maybe it gives me time, just trust that they're going to be okay. If I'm not super connected with my extended family, I'm good with my husband and my kids, thank goodness. But with my extended family, if I'm not connected with all of them, my mind is just freed up to continue to live my destiny, so that I properly position myself that whenever they need me, I am here for them, right? I just have to trust the higher wisdom. I don't understand what's going on. I don't like it. If I could control it, I would. Everybody would be like one big happy family. So peace, Erica Blige. How are you? Can you do a video on how to work with Oshun for a pregnancy? You know what? I will see what I can put together for you, but I'm going to tell you something. I recently was able to help people see if whether they're pregnant or not through astrology. I know. Here I go with the astrology again, but there's a reason I go on and on with astrology. I have made predictions that I can't believe I've made with astrology. Now, again, I typically blend, but there was a woman, first time I ever had this, and I think all the 20 years I've been doing readings, she said, I want to know if I'm going to get pregnant anytime soon. I looked at her chart. It was doing some techniques. Now, I learned some techniques from one of my teachers. And I said to her, oh my goodness, I definitely see pregnancy. She was like, I'm not certain about this. I was like, be cautious. Um, she wrote me maybe within 2 months and told me, you were right. I'm preggers. And then, I put this in one of my astrology groups, and some ladies were like, hey, what do you think? Will you look at my chart? And I did it just to get practice. And sure enough, I tell you what, Goddess Gold, listen, my email is admin@goddessbodymindspirit.com. Email me your birth details, and I need practice at this, so I won't charge you. And in exchange, I just ask that you give me feedback and keep me posted. The other thing that is about pregnancy, see, for me, talking about Oshun with pregnancy would require divination using the Meriden Lagoon, and I'm just not fully adept at that oracle. Even though I use it, I'm not fully adept at it. No one has ever taught me how to divine regarding that, but using the Metu Neter, as well as the what do you call it? Oh, astrology. Those are my power tools, because sometimes it might be, this is what I saw in one lady's chart. I said, you know what I see in your chart, why? Because she gave me her information and her husband's information. I said, I see in both of y'all's charts that you're afraid to have a baby. And she said, you know what? It's true. She said, I'm scared of the pain, and he's afraid of his family intervening. It's not that they can't get pregnant. It's there may be some, energy where they're keeping themselves from having the baby. Because a lot of times we can really and truly, it's like, I need to put the brakes on this. I know it's possible. So let me subconsciously set something up until I'm ready. And so I told her, that's something to think about. And I saw her more like 2 years out. And she said, you know what? That's what my mama told me. Her mama doesn't know astrology. She said, but my mom told me in about 2 years, I think you're going to have a baby. So we'll see. This was just a few weeks ago. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Let's see here. I'm going to put it down in the comments. Now, I will say I'm just going to be looking for pregnancy. Goddess Body Mind. I'm just doing readings for pregnancy for practice. I actually have a mini reading special that I'll be doing. So if you want other stuff, I'm not doing that for practice because I don't need the practice. But I am going to have a mini reading come out pretty soon. And so if you're on my email list, you'll see it there first. I typically offer it to the inner circle and then my email list first, and then I'll put it out publicly if there's not, if there's still spots listed. It's typically about 10 spots I open up at a time. But yeah, y'all can always email me. Let me know if you saw it. Yes. Admin goddessbodymindspirit.com. Yes, you can email me there. But if you are wanting to understand how to get pregnant and you can't get pregnant, just for now, if you see this video 2 years down the road, it's probably not going to be still this standing offer. Let's see here. What do we have to be looking for? She asked what part of the chart leads to pregnancy. We're definitely going to be looking at 5th house. See, that's why I said I have to get more practice at it because it doesn't just come to me really quickly. But there's definitely 8th house. The 8th house is for sure one of the areas of the chart because the 8th house has to do with birth. It's the chart that has to do with pregnancy. Well, birth more than anything. But you might see something in the 5th house because that has to do with children. And if you know a little bit more about astrology, it's the ruler of the 8th house also that might give you some indication. But it seems like it was like multiple charts I was looking at. I can't even remember what I did. Hi, Karen. How are you? Oh, okay. Erica's like, I got another question I want to ask about. I don't want to ask about no pregnancy. I'm with you, Karen. I am done. Now, if you need me to show up at your labor, I don't have no problem with that. So thank y'all so much for joining me today. Hold on a second. Where's my little notebook? I have a little list. It's so funny. I will write down anybody's time of birth. I'm like, what? I thought I wrote down a list, but I don't see my notebook. But I will be coming back on tomorrow. Yeah, I'll be coming back on tomorrow and talk about another topic that I wanted to share with you all. Oh, I'll probably talk about Jupiter going into Pisces, just because I think that's a very, very big deal. So anytime there's a big planet that moves slowly and stays in one sign for a long time, when it does something, it's time to take note and see what's gonna happen. Something I do want to impress upon everybody, if you don't already know this, I cannot overstate the importance of being able to keep up with your cycles and using tools to help you to understand what's going on with the world. So going back to what Johnny had asked about, When you see stuff happening in the world that just looks all wrong, which is pretty much how I feel about a lot of stuff. 2020, though, was the year that showed me I don't care what people think. At the end of the day, there is some higher wisdom. Sometimes I just hear so much doom and so much gloom. Last year, I would hear news stories and it would be people saying, well, this is what's going to happen. And then it didn't happen. Or like there was a twist, a plot twist. And I was like, I'd be doggone because I knew what the astrology was. I'm like, this is the astrology. So I remember in my inner circle, I told them, y'all, January is going to be rough. Don't come into January thinking January is going to be rough. 2020, y'all saw me coming on here doing all kinds of webinars and everything saying, y'all, 2020 is going to be rough. And I told my inner circle members, January 2021, y'all, it's going to be rough. So just get ready. And then in the United States, we had what happened up there at the Capitol. They were like, well, dang, you said it was going to be rough, but I didn't know it was going to be that rough. February, when half our country in the United States was frozen over and folks down in Houston, they fighting for their lives in the cold. It was an astrological event that happened. And it just shows me, it looks like crap is happening, but honestly, it's a whole dismantling of society that's happening. And so we can either work with it or we let it paralyze us, that's why I say I'm just learning to trust and to be in control of what I can be in control of, which is me. And this is what I'm saying about my family. Y'all see I'm going through. This is what I'm saying about my family. I can't control everybody. Pisces is in your 8th house. Do you have any planets there, T Luna? Okay. I did say hello, didn't I, Karen? Hi. I just did my natal chart and needed help. It's so on point. Oh my gosh. I feel like we have been sold a bill of goods. Probably what happened. I'm going to tell y'all the real story. What happened back in the day, folks who knew astrology, they probably started getting a little bit power hungry and doing some mess that just wasn't right. And some of it is, they know if we can't figure out the cycles, if we don't use divination, there's no way we can live in alignment with our destiny. Because see, the more I have decided to study my chart, and y'all, it's going back to what I was talking about, this awareness of yourself. Who are you? Half the time it's just, okay, I see my chart. And now I realize why I act the way that I act. Now I realize why my daddy is the way that he is and why my mama is the way that she is. And it's like, oh, this isn't just some random thing. I don't just have bad luck. And even if you see in your chart, you've got indications for bad luck. Well, now you know you're not a bad person. It's in your chart and you're here to master that for some reason, right? Also, Johnny, I need to back up too. The other thing is because I do subscribe to other lifetimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm working some stuff out that didn't get worked out with that other person in the other lifetime. And neither one of us realized it. Even if one of us wakes up and we cut the cycle, oh my gosh, that's a winning strategy right there. And I have found that to be true for myself. Sometimes it was just somebody from my past. Initially, I couldn't sense it. It just seemed like this person is my arch enemy. And once I realized what's coming on, what's happening, it's like, you know what? I'm at peace. I'm at peace with you. Maybe I don't even remember everything that happened, but in this lifetime, I'm just blessing you and sending you on your way because we can love them from the other side of town. We don't have to keep them in our life. Let's see here. Going to look at my chart again tonight. Yes. I'm feeling a major shift. I'm being intentional about being grounded and grateful. Okay, see, that'll preach right there. You need to go on ahead and write a journal or do a video on that, T Luna. being grounded and grateful. That is so good. Hi, Tara. Yes, I'm back. I'm back to doing lives just at a different time. Your sun is in the eighth house. That's a very powerful sun. That's that sun, and it sort of depends on what's there. The sun in Pisces, sometimes it may not be like the strongest placement for the sun because that's fire and Pisces is water. But that house, it could put you in a place where you are good with money, or you making some money, you inheriting money or something like that. Now they're freaking out about gasoline. I refuse to get hyped. Yes, I just saw somebody. I didn't know if these pictures were true when I was seeing them on the internet. I saw somebody with my own two eyes. Pickup truck, back of it is down, and it was like 5 gasoline cans. And Kroger let him fill them up. I thought that was so ridiculous. I'm like, Kroger, get on your job. Isn't this your business? You need to tell him to stop filling up these jugs. It's ridiculous. But there is, it is the, I believe, not only, but, well, guess what? Here we go. So, Jupiter tomorrow is getting ready to go into Pisces, but we'll still begin to get these echoes of what does this mean? What we're going to see. Jupiter exacerbates everything. Like Jupiter's like, baby, I will give you everything, good and bad, right? And so Pisces is about oil. It's about liquids. And a lot of times it is related to gas. And so here we are, Jupiter getting ready to move in Pisces. We already seeing the Pisces shenanigans. Pisces, y'all, I'm a Pisces sun. My son is in Pisces. Okay, T Luna, we together. We can be a trip. Okay, we can really be a trip. Pisces is, yeah, it can be a lot of shenanigans because it's like the energy of the mist, right? You can't, it has to do with stuff that's hidden too. And it's a mutable sign. It's the most mutable sign. And sometimes when it's a lot of mutability going on, because we have planets that are in mutable places, um, then we will see shenanigans. Like one of the things I'll just tell y'all today is once Jupiter goes into Pisces and Gemini season is on, baby, we have to check and triple check our checking accounts, making sure that nobody's getting over on us. We got to make sure we don't fall for no lies. We don't get caught up in no gossip. That's some real gossip stuff, right? Here people are going crazy, and all of it is driven by the media. Because I had a family member call me and say, hey, make sure you go fill up. I'm like, why? And then someone else is like, oh, we still got gas. Go get gas while you can. I'm like, why? The only reason I went is because I'm going to take my son someplace on Saturday, and I want to make sure I have enough gas to take him there because it's out of the city. But Jupiter moving into Pisces. Here we go. The gas. I had not made the connection yet. See, we okay. Oh, I don't know. I thought you said your son was in your eighth house. Oh, but maybe your eighth house. Whose house is Pisces? I thought it was you. I'm sorry. I'm a Scorpio rising. Okay, got you. Got you. So T Luna, that's Scorpio and Cancer. That's whoa, that is really good. Because Jupiter is exalted, which is better than good in Cancer. So that's cool. Sun is in Scorpio, got you. Just like with 2020 and the toilet paper and tissue. So yes, I don't know if I remember exactly what I associated with the toilet tissue and paper, probably because I was so in shock. But let me tell y'all something. There is this energy of the supply chain that is about this square of Uranus and Saturn. Okay, so if that doesn't make sense, don't even worry about it. Let me tell you what that means. These two energies are shifting the way the world is structured. See, 2020 started chipping away at it just tore a whole lot of stuff apart. And as you can see, some people are trying to put it back like it was, but it's never going to go back to how it was. I even saw an article yesterday, I think it was by the Budgetnista, and she was like, y'all, some folks saying they're gonna quit their jobs before they go back. They love working remotely so much that they would prefer to quit their jobs and find remote work to rather than going back. Like that was not even an option for a lot of people before last year hit. So much is changing. Like folks can try to put stuff back together like it was, but Humpty Dumpty baby ain't going to go back together. And it's because there is a shift that is happening. And so for the rest of this year, lots of social unrest, lots of still seeing decay of, different, just like some decay that we'll see, things just coming apart, bad stuff happening, but also supply chains, money, think about how, much people are talking about this digital currency or whatever. So it's like, um, everything is changing. And so we may as well just go on ahead and change. That's what I've been telling my inner circle. We may as well just go on ahead and change, y'all. Because, yeah, the world is changing. Why should we go back and be what we were before? Just like I was telling, I think it was Baby Boo Grace, just choose a new identity. That every day I wake up and I'm like, you know what, how can I be different today? How can I be different today? And how can I adjust and adapt as the world changes and adapts? Y'all got a whole nother video on that. You fine, T Luna? You are fine. It is no problem because you know what? I'm straight now. Your sun is in Scorpio, honey. You're a Leo rising, I'm assuming, because if your 8th house is Pisces, that means you're a Leo. Ooh, T Luna. That's going to be something else. I can't wait to hear how Jupiter in Pisces is for the Leos. So yeah, sisters, I think it's so important for us to boldly go where we've never been before in the best way for you. Okay. Now, I'm not telling you to make quick snap decisions, but what I am asking you to do is to listen to your intuition and follow your inspiration. If you want to align with your destiny, if you want to live in alignment with your purpose, trust your intuition, follow inspiration. Your season is coming, Erica. Sun in Gemini. That is so good. That is so good. Yeah, we'll have to get on and do just a little bit more astrology talks. I have to try to figure out how I want to structure mine because I just feel like the more I have watched other people's charts and studied my own chart, it just sells me on this is real. We have clocks that we live by. We got the calendar that we live by. We got all these rules that we live by. But let me tell you, if you adopt astrology, and the last thing that I'll say is you don't have to know it all. If you can just line up with somebody who will give you the wisdom that you need to understand how it applies to you, you just pay somebody. Just pay somebody. Y'all got me. And the inner circle is where I share more in depth. You can ask anybody in my inner circle. The information I gave about the new moon yesterday, I went even deeper. I gave even more details in the inner circle. You can hire me or you can go hire whoever you want to. I think everybody should get a good natal chart reading. You will feel so affirmed. You're like, is that right? Even if you start off with just downloading some printable one, go to some site where you can download it and it'll print out a report. I think I got one from Cafe Astrology or either astro.com. I can't remember, maybe both. I don't know. You'll start looking like, you know what? This is true. This is very true. For me, the question always was, so what? What am I supposed to do? So it's good to know your natal chart and to understand why you float and do what you do. But then when we start looking at transits, like what's going on today? What difference does it make to me today? And what it means to me as a Pisces sun may mean something different for T Luna as a Scorpio sun. It is so helpful to get it that specific. But at the end of the day, we still got to follow our intuition about what we're given, because most my teachers, they're like, I'm not trying to predict to the minuscule. I'm trying to make sure you understand what lies ahead so you can make decisions about what you want to do in your life. We don't want to be controlled by the astrologers. Okay. That's definitely not what we want. Astrology is our guide. Astrology doesn't dictate anything in my life. It's my guide. Astrology helps us to evolve. There's even a type of astrology called evolutionary astrology. I'm more of traditional. I like the old style of doing astrology. Um, but there's a chart called the progress chart. That is what when I'm telling people about that, I just say, this is your evolutionary chart. And when you start looking at your progress chart and seeing what's happening, I'm telling you, it's like, there's sometimes there transits I see, I'm like, I can't wait for this one to be over. It's killing me. There's one I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's just too much Pisces. When it was in Aquarius, it was my progressed moon. When my progressed moon was in Aquarius, I was like, this is what Aquarius feels like. Like, no, I'm not going to say no emotion, Aquarius. But I was like, wow, it's like, I'm not sensitive like I typically am because, I have all this watery energy. Then when it moved into Pisces, I was like, oh my gosh, my progressed moon is in Pisces. So it's going to be in Aries next, y'all. Y'all be scared when it goes into Aries. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Y'all know I love y'all to pieces. It's been a lot of fun, but I'm feeling excited about what's birthing for sure. Loving your language. I will definitely start making videos about being grounded and grateful. Look at how that flows. Folks need to hear about this T Luna. MDiv. Good. 2021 is going to be your year. All right, Erica Blige. Erica Blige. Woo, I feel the same way, actually. It's not easy, but it's like if we stick with the plan through our what? Intuition. We follow the inspiration. Whatever we get, we will hold on to it. This is not going to be no, one hit wonder. That's not what 2021 is about. Y'all need to look forward to 2022. I think 2022 is going to be a little bit like, yes, we sort of feel like, oh, I remember good times, baby. Thank you for coming back. You know how they say in the Christian church, weeping may endure for a night, but joy come in the morning. I think 2022 is going to be joy coming in the morning for some of us. For some of us. How to work with the chart is difficult, like you said. Now what? Yes, baby boo Grace. What I started out with doing is I just started listening to people talk astrology, and I don't all the time go sign by sign. I might start doing that for one of the moons. I'm just like, so many people do it. But I feel like it's important for representation. To be honest with you, it's probably a lot of Black astrologers. I was a part of a Black astrology group on Facebook until some man in this group, he just seemed so unhinged and he was starting arguments with all the women. I was like, I'm done. I ain't got time for this. So I know we do it, and a lot of us are into it, and we are very well versed. Oh, Cosmic Homegirl, that she's one who does go sign by sign. I think she does a weekly video. So I say, listen to Cosmic Homegirl. She's actually one of my teachers. Her name is April, but you can find her on Instagram too. She's an astrologer. I don't use that label, but for all intents and purposes, I am an astrologer, but I consider myself to be a healer who uses astrology. I use astrology to help people. I'm a guide, and I use astrology to help guide us, but I use a whole lot of other stuff too. But because she is an astrologer, she does go sign by sign. And so you can listen to what she says. I think she goes week by week or something like that. But y'all let me know what you want to hear. What do you want to know? Would you want to hear that from me? I would love to know that. Oh, that's a good question. T Luna, do you have a channel? I didn't even think about that. Thank you. Tell it like it is. But yeah, y'all look up Cosmic Homegirl. She is, I just really believe, and not everybody who works with me is of Afro descent. Not everybody who works with me is from the US. I am very Maatian in how I work with people. This is how I've been my whole life. I just love humans. However, I'm unapologetic, and the people who, aren't Afro like me, they are like, girl, say it. So I don't even have to like worry about saying what I'm about to say. A representation matters. We need to see some Afros, some Afro women, um, women of African descent who also infuse Afro spirituality. Because for me, astrology is not Afro. It's just not. But it's so effective. I can't not use it. Like that would be malpractice for me at this point. So April is a sister. She is a Black woman. And so April might be something else too, but I see her as Black. So I never asked her what she is, but she might be Black and something else, but she definitely is representation. And so, and like I said, she's one of my teachers. Like I still listen to April, to be honest with you, just because she'll go through the signs. Okay, thank you. Tell it like it is. Hold on, we ain't heard from T Luna yet. M Hotep, M Div. Maybe she will send it to me via email and I can post it for you all. I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back. Part of what took me out of doing lives too is I had COVID at the top of the year. Man, it was a long journey back. And even last week, I had some long haulers. Was it last week? Yeah, I had. It was maybe the week before. Within the last 2 weeks, I had a long haulers episode where I was like I almost couldn't function. Like I literally almost could not function. So that was part of what um, made me say, I've got to stop going on for a minute because I can't even focus. I can't focus. I can't, like, I'm just crazy. It's called Working with a Purpose. So, T Luna, do you have a website also or just a YouTube channel? So, yeah, Working with a Purpose by T Luna Imhotep. Okay. Yes. Very good, Johnny. Very good. I need to start asking y'all in the inner circle. Do y'all want me to start kind of looking at charts? I definitely want to start doing some classes. I actually have Johnny in the inner circle an astrology 101 course, and it's really designed to help people understand their charts so that if somebody is doing, we call it horoscopes, which is when people get on and talk about astrology. It's called a horoscope. The horoscopes, a lot of times we think about what's in the newspaper, but it's really when we get on and start talking about astrology and then what does it mean for each sign, that's called a horoscope. So that when someone talks to you about, using horoscopes, you know your chart enough so that you can understand the horoscope. That's how I started out. I finally figured out, okay, I need to know my rising sign, my sun sign, and my moon sign. And then I just started listening to horoscopes for all three. I didn't just listen for Pisces anymore, even though Pisces is always accurate. The moon is exceedingly accurate. And then for me, my rising sign, that one is the one where you can predict the most. Write down the time, date of birth, location for all relatives. You know how folks be posting their baby's information? Every time I see a little cousin have a baby, I'm like, got it. Like, you never know. They might need my help. Okay, so she said that just go to her, click on her name. That's her YouTube channel, I think. Yes. T Luna Imhotep MDiv is her YouTube channel. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. Yes, the houses are my favorite, to be honest with you. Okay. You know what? That's coming back. That's coming back, baby Boo Grace. That is coming back. Ever since I did that, I was like, that was exceedingly successful, but I was like, I don't know. It's like scary doing readings like right here, on the spot. I don't know why, because it's what I do. It's like my gift. Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Okay, so yes, her. Okay, here we go. Y'all see her name? T. Luna. Imhotep, MDiv. That's her YouTube name. So you can go there. We're going to all subscribe and come watch the Grounded and Grateful video. Yes, Karen, I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. And I'm just too happy to be here. Y'all look, I was also thinking while I'm feeling sort of like not distant, because if I were to pick up the phone and call anybody in my family right now and tell them I needed something, they'd be like, girl, what you want? Hey, honey, how you doing? Like they don't really know how I feel. I don't think. I just feel like I'm an afterthought to a lot of my family. My mother died. And so, she was like the center. And I don't know, me and my leg of the family, sometimes they think about it, sometimes they don't. And it hurts. And then I was like, but then I got everybody who is a part of the Goddess Body Mind Spirit community. So that's a blessing. I'm like, count your blessings, Tyra, count your blessings. Oh, thank you. See, she says now she's got to do it. So I'm going to tell you real quick, T Luna, just write down 3 things you want to say about it. That's it. Unless you're used to doing YouTube videos. If you're like, well, I don't really do YouTube videos much. Just write down 3 things you want us to know. Maybe you're just telling us your 3 things about this experience of getting grounded and grateful, and just, shoot that video out. Scorpio 11th with moon. That's deep. That could make you very popular, baby Boo Grace. Like very profitable and gaining. You can gain a lot. Guess what you might want to do, baby Boo Grace? Astrology. Or some type of divination. Maybe use tarot. I don't care. I don't discriminate against what method of divination you use, but you could make a lot of money doing readings, baby Boo Grace. Maybe you just got intuition, or maybe you could be a private investigator. I know I've said I was getting up so many times, so I'm gonna run, y'all. Thank you so much. GoddessBodyMindSpirit.com if you want to learn more about my membership, if you want to learn more about the readings that I'm doing, and the mini readings are coming within the next 48 hours. That's what I told one of my sisters, because she was like, just let me know. I'm like, okay, give me 48 hours. There is a newsletter that you can subscribe to, because I send that out once a week. And yeah, I sell classes. The classes that I put in my inner circle, let's say you're like, you know what, right now, I can't join the inner circle, but I can buy a class. My classes are very affordable, and I pour my heart and my soul into these classes because I so badly want people to have this wisdom. Y'all know I told y'all they be trying to hide stuff from us, but I'm here to let everybody know all the deets. Oh my gosh, y'all, mwah, I love y'all. Y'all are so good to me. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. I probably will go on just a little bit earlier tomorrow, but yeah, I'll be here. And I look forward to seeing you all. All right, y'all take care. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Peace and love. Mwah. Love y'all. Peace.